Chase, how do you measure sadness?
Tears.
Me too. So sad. Let's not make it that way, though. We all love ice cream. So why don't we measure sadness in regards to some of these teams through our ice cream scoops? So
I see what you did
one scoop of ice cream. So one scoop of ice cream will be, you need a little, nighttime pick-me-up. You want a little
feel
snack
good about myself.
before you fall asleep. Feel good. Exactly.
Yeah,
You're going to go to the
good.
gym in the morning. You're just drink a lot of
work
water.
out, working on my fit. Yeah, okay.
5 scoops, though, that's like, you might as well just put the spoon in just the carton and just go.
That's like a banana split.
Correct. Just stick your face in it, right? So in regards to these teams, one means you got some hope, actually, right? And 5 is we're in trouble here. All right, so
5 is just like overloaded, just like sad as all get out.
correct, overeating.
Yeah.
And we just wrapped up talking about. I know that is the worst. Talking about the Jets, and I think we're fair on this. We're going 5 scoop on this.
I'm gonna do 4.
Ooh, shocker! Why?
I'm gonna do 4 because I actually like the fact that I don't like the fact that they fired Joe Douglas because I was with Joe Douglas. Joe Douglas is my guy in Philly. But I like the fact that he's making moves, and hopefully Woody Johnson, Big Woody, decides to hire a legitimate head coach and a legitimate GM, and they snap their playoff drought. So 4, because there's a little bit of hope.
Well, at least you have a little bit of hope because if you look at this year, they could go this whole season, lose Robert Saleh, Joe Douglas, and Aaron Rodgers, and start fresh for next year. But where do they start? This whole thing has just got to be rebuilt from the bottom up. Yet they do have some really good players still on this team. That's what I'm saying.
They got some good players, Diana. Like on defense, they got some good dudes.
Yeah. All right. So 5 scoops for me, 4 scoops for you. Let's talk about the Panthers. This one is interesting because I like what they're doing right now. I enjoy seeing this improvement. I like watching Bryce Young look so happy.
Yeah,
he seems like he's growing into all of this.
Yeah. It's wild to me how like a benching like that can just change his perspective. Just like a little bit of time and time out, and then you go right there. So I'm going to go, well, I don't know what the hell they're going to do with Bryce Young in the offseason. Like, are they going to trade him? Like,
that's the biggest question.
3.5 scoops, I guess, maybe. I don't know.
3.5 is good. I'll take 4 on them, and here's why.
Oh, okay.
I think they're going to still try to figure out what they want to do. Obviously, based on what we saw already, it appeared that they thought that this wasn't going to work. But now that he's showing more promise here, and they're playing better. The offensive line is good. They did a good job in the draft with that and making improvements there.
Yeah.
I think this regime is the reason why I'm probably getting the scoops. I give them credit for sort of riding this ship here where it looked really ugly, having the guts to walk into David Tepper's office with Dan Morgan and say, I can't make this work. If we want to win games, Bryce Young is not the answer. He needs to watch. And I think he watched it. Andy, I think he did. And I think that helped. So their defense is the problem, though. That's where we got the issue. They gave up 4th most yards in the league, 24th passing defense, 32nd rushing defense, 32nd in scoring. I
think they've given up like 6 or 5 30-point games, and you know who they play this weekend? The Chiefs.
Yeah.
Maybe I might go to 4 now. I might go to 4.
See, this could be one of these games, though, where they could stay in this thing.
Stop it right now.
The Chiefs just lost it. They just lost for the first time. Their undefeated season is over. They're looking on the schedule, and they're like, the Panthers. This could be one of those games where Carolina can catch them.
I could not agree more. I think the Chiefs are going to blow them out.
All right, we'll see. I'll be texting you on Sunday. So really the question is, how can they upgrade a defense that really doesn't have a lot of talent, but also surround Bryce Young with the pieces to succeed? That's going to be the biggest struggle for them. They need receivers. What about the idea of keeping Bryce Young and just keeping him as a piece as he continues to develop and grow?
It's an interesting scenario. One, do you think you're going to actually be good next year? Or do you think you're going to just be middle of the range? If you're going to be middle of the range, keep Bryce Young. Let him grow because the quarterback draft class is not good. The free agency draft class is not good. Wait another year to do it. If he's showing enough promise, that's what you do. If not, then I think you just got to blow it up and get a a guy for $10 million a year to play quarterback to just win some games and hold the fort down. You got to do something. Like, I don't know if just drafting a guy to draft a guy is the question. Like Shedeur Sanders, Cam Ward, Quinn Ewers, like, I don't know if they're better than Bryce Young. You know, like, we forget that Bryce Young was a freaking number 1 overall pick. It's in there somewhere. It's in there somewhere. So Canales has, I think, has done a good job for his first year, first time being a head coach, right? It's a tough organization to win with.
Yeah. Well, they still owe the second round pick to Chicago next year for that Bryce Young trade. So it's just the
gift that keeps on giving.
You know, it does. It does. Speaking of the gift that keeps on giving, the Cleveland Browns. Let's just start there with how many scoops you giving them. So 5 is horrendous. 1 is okay. For where we're at now.
Yeah, 5. No, it's like 6. It might be 6, honestly.
You're doing even an extra one.
I might just like pass out in a coma after that. It's the Deshaun Watson stuff just hanging. Like, I almost forgot about it until you brought it up. Like, I put it so far out of my mind that I didn't realize that they have like $150 million cap hit for Deshaun Watson or whatever it is. And if they like, wild.
And they have 4 primetime games too.
No, they don't. Oh, hey, yeah, bring him in. Hey, is that Mikey or Joey?
Mikey.
Hi, Mikey.
And they have 4 primetime games still to come this season.
No, they don't.
I mean, you got to figure that they're going to flex these things, right? So,
Jameis Winston, though, they might not flex his speeches.
But look, some people still think they're actually an exciting team because of that dynamic, and they're still the Cleveland Browns.
I don't know who those people are.
But
I disagree.
But we know that they've got some problems. They got the most expensive roster in NFL history this season.
Yeah,
the most expensive roster.
Deshaun Watson in the contract.
So, look, they have a lot of decisions to make. Do they cut him? Do they stick with him? Do they try to move on from Kevin Stefanski and Andrew Berry and try to bring in someone who they think can resurrect Deshaun Watson? These are things we don't know yet.
Come on.
It's not that crazy. There's chatter about these type of things right now because ownership isn't happy with the way this is
gone. Who's going to resurrect Deshaun Watson?
I don't know.
If it can't be 2-time coach of the year.
It's a fair point. And look, it doesn't get any better for them in the offseason too.
Wow.
Nick Chubb, Elijah Moore, Jedrick Wills, all pending free agents. Like it's so their run game's already not great. So they're gonna have to sort that out. So they're 5 scoops for me, just because you're right. It always goes back to Deshaun, and I don't know if this team is going to be able to figure it out with Deshaun Watson on their roster. I just don't know if it ever gets any better.
It's not. I can tell you right now.
Is it going to get better in Dallas? The Dallas Cowboys.
It has
How many scoops? How many scoops for you?
Oh, you know what? I'm just going to go 1 scoop. I'm just going to go 1 scoop. Yeah, I sort of hope they do something batshit crazy and I don't know. Get
You're
Prime.
giving the Dallas Cowboys right now.
Get Prime. Get Shedeur. Let us talk about stuff. Dallas Cowboys nonstop for the next 5 years. I'd love that, actually.
You just like to be entertained. I'm talking from just an organization that their goal is to win.
Oh, organization.
They're trying to win games here, not win the entertainment.
Oh, yeah. 3.
You think
not
this
all
is
these
a
guys
one-year
could be
fix?
5.
Do you think this is a one-year fix?
Of course not. Just a 3. They got good players. They got to get better players, though.
Here's the problem. They've got their star players. We know Dak Prescott. We know CeeDee Lamb. We know Micah Parsons. But that's all that's all they're focused on, really. That's all they're spending their money on. And I know on the show we talk a lot about Jerry Jones's decision not to bring in a running back. And I think we went pretty hard on him in terms of going, why didn't he bring Derrick Henry in? That doesn't make any sense. And I'm just going to go back to the fact that letting Tony Pollard go was probably the bigger mistake.
Yeah, I agree.
Tony Pollard's one of the best players on the Tennessee Titans this year. And he was there. They had him. He was right there.
Yep.
So
couldn't pay him.
To me,
not enough money to go around.
Is that what they're always going to say?
Yeah.
Is that what the word is on them? Now, look, Mike McCarthy's dead men walking. Everybody knows, he's in the final year of his contract. Who wants to work there? And a lot of people do. I can tell you that. But who's the right one? Who's the right fit? Who do you really want to see there?
But like it honestly doesn't matter, Diana, because when it comes to Dallas, until Jerry Jones gives up some of the power, they're not going to be the same. Like Will McClay is the drafting guy right there, right? And the head coach is just, you're never really going to have the power until Jerry Jones. Like, I don't know. Like, it's just like one of those things where even if it was prime Deion Sanders, if he were to come in and he was going to be like, Jerry, I need control the roster, even to prime, who's the best corner in NFL history, he's not going to give it up. So I don't know. It's got to take a strong head coach to go in and be bossed around by Jerry.
Yeah, well, they definitely lack depth, and I'm assuming in the offseason they're going to try to make as many moves as they possibly can, knowing that this isn't good enough. I just don't want to hear
lineman and running back.
I just don't want to hear all in.
Number 2 receiver.
I don't want to hear all in. Remember?
What if we hear that again?
I'm going to say we need a new definition of. You need to use a new word, is what I'm going to say politely to him.
Out.
Because that. His definition of all in is certainly very, very different than all of us. So
I still give him one because I'm entertained.
You can take that one. The Las Vegas Raiders. I'm going to be a little softer here. Soft ice.
You've been 5 the whole.
Well, that's me.
Soft serve.
I'm gonna give the Raiders a 3. Right. So I'm in the middle, and Tom Brady's my reason why I'm not going higher.
Oh.
So we know he's minority owner now, and Mark Davis was really open when I talked to him about the addition of Tom Brady and what that means. And he just kept pointing to his excellence. And why would you not pick the brain of somebody who's done it at his level so many times and is the greatest quarterback to play the game? Why would you not let this person be a gigantic part of your organization? So I think the influence and that excellence, that theme, is going to help this team figure out what direction they want to go in and what kind of decisions to make and what kind of people, what kind of players they want to be Raiders.
Yeah, that's great. 4.25 for me. They don't have a quarterback. They don't have a head coach. It's his last. He's got one more year on his deal. They don't know if Antonio Pierce is going to be the guy. They could fire him. So they don't have that. They have Tom Brady, minority owner. Okay, great. You don't have the 2 most important positions in sports. 4.25 for me.
I don't think they're in full-on rebuild mode. I think there's some infrastructure there that they can work with. Obviously, we've seen Brock Bowers. They've got Max Crosby. They've got some pieces that are really good.
You don't have a head coach or a quarterback. Those are the 2 most important positions in any franchise. Look at the Texans last year with DeMeco Ryans and C.J. Stroud. They completely changed their franchise around. No one was talking about them. Now we talk about them, and they're your Super Bowl favorites. They're not going to win the Super Bowl, but 4.25.
Well, then let's talk about a team then that could desperately use a quarterback, and that's the New York Giants. All right, I give them 3 scoops.
That's it.
3 scoops. Still got to keep an eye on this, whether or not Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen keep their jobs. Ownership continues to stand by.
What's your read on that?
They're coming back. In what sense?
Joe Schoen and Daboll. I heard Daboll's coaching for his job.
I think that the next few weeks are going to be very important for him.
With
I think
Tommy
Joe
DeVito
Schoen
at quarterback.
has a safer landing here, but I think Brian Daboll is the one that
How
has
does
to show
Joe
that.
Schoen have a safer landing? If Brian Daboll, one of the best coaches, is going to get fired, you deserve to be fired too.
And they're a tandem, which is why that would be interesting because they came in together and they're very public about them being a duo. But general managers have different relationships with owners than coaches. They spend a lot of time with them. And you have to wonder what Joe Schoen's selling to John Mara in terms of what he wants to do in the future. And
selling versus actually doing it's completely different.
Well, if I'm Joe, I'm saying we finally get a chance. Let's keep Brian. We finally are going to get a chance to draft a quarterback we want. Give us that chance. We haven't been able to do it.
Quarterbacks aren't that good, though. That's what people are forgetting. They're not.
They needed to get a quarterback this last draft.
Yes,
they messed up.
Exactly. That's why they should be fired. Well, I like Daboll, though. Okay, 4.99.
They haven't won the NFC East since 2011. It's been a long time.
Wow, let's just keep doing what we're going to be doing.
All right, 3 scoops then. I'm going to stick with it. Patriots. They get 1 scoop from me.
I agree. No, I agree.
Like
Drake May is legit.
Dude, he's awesome.
He is legit.
I'm shocked how good he is at this point. The way the season started compared to what he's doing now. I mean, obviously we didn't see that much of him.
And he's doing it with very little on the offensive line and very little skill players. So, right? Like, we love them.
They're projected to have the most cap space in the league next year too, just under about 140 million.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
They've got the most important element and piece. They got the quarterback, and now they got money to spend.
They definitely have the quarterback, and I think they have the head coach. So 0.5 scoops, just a little taste.
Just a little spoonful. All right, let's wrap this up with the Tennessee Titans. We don't talk about them on the show at all. We probably need to do a little bit more because I do think there's some good stuff there. I'm going to give them 3 scoops because of their defense. I look at some of the stuff they did. That Denard Wilson was hired to do what they're doing. So I give them a lot of credit for that. The turnovers are the problem. The offense is the problem. You know what I don't know the answer to?
Will Levis?
No, I know the answer. He's not a good quarterback. He
I like when you say things like that.
He has some good backup potential, but I don't think he should be a starter right now.
Spicy.
He costs this team way too many games.
I agree.
And Coach Callahan is, I think, trying his best to find an identity for this team.
Oh, you can tell he doesn't like him.
Well, how do you...
Why? You can tell. Are you serious? Do you listen to his press conferences about him early in the year? Come on now. Come on.
I feel like all coaches outside Sean Payton kind of talk like that about their quarterback. It. Not everyone's like, I love my quarterback. I love my quarterback. That by the way, that was my Sean Payton voice. I don't know why he sounded like a robot.
Sean Payton voice.
That was not good. But look, I think Derrick Henry having all the success in Baltimore has got to be piercing to those fans, but also to even just decision makers who decided to move on from Derrick Henry. The O-line seems to be improving a little bit, but they still have holes there. They got to figure out the quarterback spot. At the end of the day, they're in that group that if they don't have a quarterback, they're not going to be good.
That's why it's a 3 for me, because they have the head coach. I believe in the head coach. They have the defense. QB, the most important position in sports. Why do you believe in the head coach?
Because I've heard this a lot from people.
Yeah, I think what he did.
I like him, but
yeah. I mean, it's 1 year with a quarterback that doesn't know how to run his offense. Like, how can you even remotely judge this guy? This guy was brought in to be an offensive guru, like he was with Burrow, right? And it's if you're grading this season for him, it's an I. It's an incomplete.
It is an incomplete, but I wish the other I that was solved this year was the identity of the Titans. That's what I wish the biggest takeaway would have been. Like, I'm okay that they're not great. I assumed they were going to lose a lot of games. I just wish I knew who the Titans were. I always knew who they were.
That's a good point. That's a really good point.
I don't know who they are. They have some good stuff, some good players, especially on defense, but we will find out more and see what they do in this offseason after they spent so much money this past offseason. Thanks for tuning into Scoop City. If you want to hear more, make sure you like and subscribe. We drop our new episodes every Tuesday and Friday.